Well, here we are on our first book club for Trident, and just really looking looking forward to this. Uh, Over the last month, it's been kind of a fun thing. And first of all, I want to thank Josh Kozad. He kind of said, "Here's a book that you should be reading at the Build and Bond event," and I ordered it that afternoon and got it in, started reading it, and you know what's been really interesting is that I'm requiring and didn't really have to require it, but getting all of the sales reps at Trident to start reading this. Because what better way to communicate with your customers and to relate to your customers than to be on the same path? And we may have different end goals of who we're trying to work with, but we're still in this to grow our business. And I think it's really important that you're always educating yourself, you're always growing, you're always trying to find new ways to skin that cat, right? And the book club was something that while we were doing the winter book series or the winter series, that it's like every week we were trying to figure out, well, what are we going to talk about next? What are we going to talk about next? Well, the good thing about the book series is that we're always going to have something to talk about. Now we know that the season is going on, and we know that the season is really firing up right now, and it's going to be more and more difficult to take time off. But just a little bit of education, a little bit, maybe just reading a little bit each night. It's always good to feed your brain right before you go to bed. Usually I feed my stomach with a bunch of ice cream, but I think at this time I need to feed my head, right? Because sometimes I can't quite see the results of feeding my head, but I can always see the results of feeding my stomach with a bunch of ice cream. So this is a fun way for us to gather information, talk to each other, see what we're learning about. And the pumpkin plan really has been absolutely a lot of fun to read, listen to, and take part of. So I want to kind of set the ground rules right at the beginning. There's not really rules, but kind of where we're coming from. We do have the Trident team that's on here, and we're going to come from two different perspectives. One perspective is the Trident reps answering these questions in their way and contractors answering it in their way. So it's kind of a unique way to look in to see how we're dynamically growing Trident, and then for a way for us to see how the contractors are growing their business. Now, I'm not requiring that everybody reads the book. Number one, I'm not going to go through and test and see if someone did you really read the book or did you not read the book. If you want to just get in here and just listen to it, and maybe you pick up a nugget, but if you really want to get the benefits, pick up the book, read it, listen to it, whatever you got to do, get some information from it. So, I wanted to kind of start off right now. We've got around 17 people that are on here. We've got all the sales reps. Brad is in the question area there. So if you got questions or anything else like that, and you want to type those inside of the chat room, by all means do so. Raise your hand, and we'll answer questions, and just kind of like how we've done the winter series, but towards this book club here. So I wanted to kind of start this off with that most contractors think growth comes from getting more customers. This book, it challenges the idea and says growth actually comes from getting the right customers. Tonight isn't about, or this afternoon is not about a lecture. I want to hear real experiences from you guys, even from the sales reps. So let's start up with just a real simple warm up question. This is a real simple one. What percentage of your customers actually make you money versus the ones that give you headaches? Anybody want to jump in on that one?
About three quarter.
About three quarters of now, is that three quarters of them make you money and one quarter of them give you
Headache,
headaches?
more or less.
That sounds about right. Yeah. Tim Sparks says you're top 20%.
I will say since I've been working closely with Trident and since I mean, I've read this book probably 4 or 5 times now. Um, my headache customers are very, very low now. Um, I'd focus on just targeting the better clients, and if they're price shopping or they don't really care about a premium service, I just kind of just let it slide. Hey, there may be another contractor that would be better suited for you, and focus on the good ones, and it's been paying off so far.
It's amazing how many people will. I think we'll ask that question later. I think that's a good question to follow up with that a little bit later that I just kind of thought of there. But you know, what about anybody else? Anybody else? What percentage of those are coming up that are making you money versus the ones that just give you headaches? Anybody else?
I don't know if I
Clients
have
that
an
have a
exact
million and
percentage,
a
but
half.
I feel like we have pretty good overall customers. But I mean, I've got one I'm texting right at the moment that in some ways she's a good customer, but she's also constantly nitpicking at stuff.
Right. What about the Trident team? This is where it's going to get real fun.
I
I'm
plead the
not
fifth on
answering
that.
that.
Tammy, go ahead, and then we're going to get to Tammy. Tell us what your thoughts are. Tammy, no. All right, Marlo, was that
I,
you?
yeah, I was joking around to say I plead the fifth since we've got contractors on this phone call, but no, honestly, even when I was a contractor, I'd say maybe only you know 1 out of 20 customers was a headache, and with contractors now, I don't really have um, any contractors to give me headaches. Maybe I just haven't been a rep long enough. I don't know.
Give it time.
Yep,
We'll
Give
try
it
sure.
harder.
time.
Yeah.
You're just not talking to enough people. Whoa.
Dang.
Slow your roll there, big guy.
He's just being a butt kisser.
Oh,
No,
okay.
I
Well,
know Danielle's got some headache clients.
I'll
I
tell you
know.
that typically about 50% of the contractors that I dealt with um, were either um, a pain in the butt, right? Or they were pretending to be a big pumpkin when they really weren't. They come in all kinds of shapes and sizes, and they'll tell you, right? Like we just had some people that called today and basically are saying, "Well, I am the biggest, I'm the best, I'm the crazy." They'll tell you everything that you want to hear just to get you excited. But those typically the ones that are screaming the loudest are the ones that are usually going to be the biggest pains in the butts. If you will do a good job for us, I'm going to fill you up with so much business because I'm a real estate agent and I talk to a lot of people. Anybody heard that one? Yeah,
Yep,
right.
I've got a good
Mm-hmm.
comeback for that one.
Mm-hmm. Well, don't just tease us, tell us.
All right, all right. So, yeah, I would love, I can get you so much business in this neighborhood. I know everybody. I know would immediately go, well, great. We've already got a referral program, and here's how it works. And then you pay regular price. And then for every referral that I get that drops your name, then you get X, whether it's a gift card or a whatever. I just steamroll right past that.
Right. Kind of sounds like what was the guy's name? Blimpy on Popeye. I will gladly pay you tomorrow for a hamburger that you give to me today. Right? So we kind of got into a little bit of an idea that's right there. So chapter 1 let's kind of open this up. So the first chapter that we got into, if you treated your business like a pumpkin farmer, which client would you pour everything into, and which customer would you never take again? And what made that customer great, or what made that customer terrible? Anybody?
The client that wanted a solution and you had an answer to versus the client that sits there and asks a gazillion questions right off the bat.
Okay.
Every
Tell me
client that
more.
I've had, here's my problem, and I've
Okay.
presented a solution, have been a higher price ticket client than the client right off the bat asking a gazillion questions.
Interesting. So the customer that is asking a gazillion questions at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
do you do you feel like they are interested in getting something to come out, but yet haven't done any research to it? And the people that have done some research to it are less likely to ask you a gazillion questions, but ask you the right questions.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I think the ones that are
Interesting.
continuously asking the questions, they're trying to play catch up, but also play the shopping game as
Okay.
well. So
I like that. That's an interesting dynamic. Andrew, what do you have?
I think for me, a lot of it is the customers that, while they expect quality, they don't expect perfection. Those are the people, at least as a customer, I appreciate because things happen, right? Sometimes there are things beyond your control. Sometimes you get a technician who didn't do what he should have. Sometimes, I hate to say it, I drop the ball, I forget to do something, I forget to put something in the notes, whatever. But the people who understand that we're there to do something for them that they're not going to do themselves. Now, we do a lot more than just sealing, so there are things that more of our customers could do themselves, but they realize that we're saving that time and effort for them.
So those people that have realistic expectations
Yeah,
and that are realistic expectations, good or bad.
yep.
Because some people will come in and say, I really don't care. Just make it look better. Right. I find that those are the ones that are just saying, get it done, and then I'm going to come back and nitpick the hell out of you. But the ones that have realistic expectations that come in and say, boy, I sure hope that this is going to look better. Can you kind of give me your process? Tell me what's going to happen here. They ask the right questions. They are not hovering over the top of you to pretend like I'm just very curious about what's happening here. No, you're not. You're hovering over the top of me, right? You want to make sure that everything's going correctly. Um, those customers. So identifying the pumpkins or the big pumpkins is having a conversation with them, but also what are some of the cues that they're giving you that they're going to be a difficult customer, verbal or nonverbal? I can tell you what mine are. Mine are is that when I went to go visit with a customer, and as I walked in and talked to the customer, if they were engaging with me one on one, or were they thinking about everything else? Oh, I got to take care of my kids over here. Oh, go ahead and measure something while I go do this, right? They weren't engaged with me. And if they weren't engaged with me, they're going to be the ones that's only going to get half of the story, but then pin it all against you when something doesn't go right, because they're just touching across the top of it. Kind of a thought process that's there. So what jobs have you taken that you knew that you shouldn't have? Like, what are some of the warning signs that you ignored? Right? Like, I can tell you a ton of that. I can tell you from a Trident standpoint, when a contractor calls me up and says, I need you to just tell me the band-aid. I need you to just tell me how to fix this. Quick and simple and easy. I messed it up, but I need you to give me just a quick way to be able to fix this. I know a lot of times that's a signal to me that they're not willing to really own up to the mistake that they made at the beginning. They just want the quick fix so that they can just get by. How can I pull the wool over somebody else's head by just giving them a quick? Now, there might be a simple answer, there might be a simple solution, but to ask for it is kind of a trigger to me that this person's really not into it for the high quality that they should be providing at the beginning. So what jobs have you taken that you knew you shouldn't, and what are some of the warning signs that you ignored?
I would say people that are upfront about asking what pricing is before they even ask how if you can fix their problem. Before they even present you their problem, where you have an option to give them a solution. They're just, what do you charge? What's the cost?
Right. Now, do you think that is um, an indicator of? I think it goes both ways. I don't think both ways are good, but I think it kind of goes both ways. Is that somebody in their mind thinking, well, if this is going to end up costing me $5,000, I can't afford that, so I'm not interested. So why are we just cutting to the chase?
I don't think,
But then
I
again,
mean, maybe, but I think some people, the money value don't matter as much as the solution. If you're able to provide that solution, maybe they only wanted to spend 5,000, not anymore, but your price may be 6 or 7,000, and they you may be able to show them that the value in what you're doing, that you're able to actually provide a solution. You're not just slapping some cheap sealer down that's not going to solve their problem. You're actually going to provide a solution. Then it may be worth it more to them.
I can tell you another trigger that usually indicates that it's a bad customer. I need you to come out and give me an estimate, but I'm not going to be there. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to visit with you. I don't want to feel
Yep.
pressured. I don't want to be sold. I remember when my father and I used to do these trade shows, and people would be like, and we even told them, we'll come by, we'll do an estimate, we'll send it to you. You don't even have to be there. That was just so that I could tell people that I got 65 estimates set up. And boy, we spent a lot of time giving estimates that didn't close because I didn't have a chance to talk to them. It wasn't until we said that you have to be there for us to be able to come and give you an estimate did we increase our closing rate. So those people were telling me right at the beginning, or I was telling them how to be a bad pumpkin. I was allowing it to happen. So were there any other warning signs that you ignored from anybody else? I mean, there's 19 people on here. Don't blow it up.
Mike, do you mind if I throw?
Throw something in there.
It seems to me that all of these things are circling one cause. And the one cause is, what is the level of their fear? The higher their fear, the more evasive they're going to be, the more distorted they're going to be. They're going to be not manageable. So if you try to look at a client and say, what is their fear factor? And then your job is to ease their fears. So when you talk about too many questions, by asking questions, I keep the salesperson far away from me so I can't be closed. But I'm also in the gathering information stage of the decision. I'm not in the decision making stage. So fear keeps you in an earlier stage. When you ease their fears, they become comfortable. When they do that, then they're prepared to move to the decision part of the process. So my issue is that if you just take a guess, how fearful is this person, and then focus on easing their fears, you'll move them ahead to a close within a reasonable period of time. But you won't try to close them while they're too fearful to make the decision.
Yeah, I can buy that. Charles says, "You give me cheap price. I have another house around the corner you can do." Tim Sparks says, "The do-it-yourself customer is a red flag." Tell me about that, Tim. Are you able to talk? I don't know if you're able to jump in there.
My signal's not too good and I'm driving. But so what I found over when I first get on that initial phone call, and a lot of times it's the elderly, the older client at this point, but they start out with, well, I used to do this, and I used to clean this, and I used to do that. I just find 90% of the time they're not a good client. They're always cheap, and they're always looking for cut rate pricing instead of the value because they done it themselves and they don't understand what bringing a different level plus the protection we provide by being insured, by having workers' comp, by the education that we offer to them. A lot of the people I deal with, they don't listen to that. If that makes sense.
So they don't listen to the having the insurance and having that kind of stuff. Did I hear that right?
Well, yeah, just create the value. Like we're different from we're different from chucking a truck. In all honesty, what I found is them people that are the do-it-yourself types, they're looking, in my experience anyways, they're looking for that chuck in a truck instead of that professional company that's going to provide an exceptional level of service to them. They want that cheaper rate. So when I hear that, that's my red flag, and I don't even usually quote them clients no more. I tend to steer clear from them, and I tend to tell my office person just kind of push them off. I hate to be that way, but that's just been my experience over 7 years.
What do they say to indicate that that's the type of person that they are?
Well, so we'll start talking, and then they'll start telling me, like, I'm very vocal. I'll talk to a client maybe longer than I should. And they'll start going into the process. Oh, yeah, well, I used to have my pressure washer, and I would get out there and I'd clean my concrete, and I'd done it for 20 years, and now I can't do it no more. Or, little things like that. There's little clues they'll give you because they'll start telling you what they used to do and how they used to do it, not understanding that they might be pressure washing it, but they might not even be cleaning it correctly, or they might be damaging their concrete or their home or whatever it was. And so in their mind, even though I'm offering a different level of service, they done it just as good as me. So it's hard to sell them clients, especially if you're a higher end company.
Right. Have you thought about maybe reframing with them, saying, what does a good job look like when it's done? And how long should it last?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I'm just
Right.
spitballing
That's
here,
where I'm
right?
going. No, it
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah. So like for instance, if I had a homeowner that told me I used to clean the let's just play this scenario out. Homeowner comes up and says, I used to do the pressure washing and stuff like that, but I don't do it anymore. I'm just looking for someone else. Okay. So when you got done, what was the indicator that you did a really good job? Oh, well, it was clean. Well, then why are you not continuing on to do it again? And they're going to tell you, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, or I don't have the time. If they say they don't have the money, then obviously haul ass, right? Like that's enough. That's probably one of the number one things why we'd say you're not a good pumpkin, right? But I hear this a lot. I would pressure wash it, and in 3 weeks, it would look just like it did with all the stripes, and all the mold and mildew would come back quicker because they didn't know anything about pre-treat and post-treat,
Mm-hmm.
right? They
Right.
didn't know anything about chemicals. They didn't know all those stuff. So maybe asking them when they're a do-it-yourself customer, well, then why did you call me out here? Well, I just don't want to do it again. Why? And then if they give you vague answers, just keep asking why until eventually you get to the question. Usually after 3, you're going to get to the root cause of it.
Okay.
Give it a shot.
I'm
Now,
always ready.
it's easy. It's easy just to go, that's not the right customer. That's not the right customer. I mean, I see it on Facebook all the time. Well, that's not the right customer. You need to go on and find somebody else. Sometimes those right customers are in disguise. Sometimes a pumpkin's behind a bunch of leaves. Sometimes it's worth just digging through a little bit. But you shouldn't just continue. It's so easy to just write off everybody. But
Mm-hmm.
but that might be an option to think of, hey, let me ask you, you called me out here. I tell of when I would walk into the paver sealers, I would ask and do a paver sealing quote. I would walk in, I would say, looks like you got a lot of pavers. Why did you call me out here? The
Right.
next person that speaks loses, because they're going to tell you exactly why they want you out there in order of their pain. Well, you can't see that there's 3 inches of weeds that are growing through here. You can't see that there's no color on these pavers and there's no sand inside. Easy. Weeds, color, sand. They told me in order. Their pain. Number 1, everyone loves to talk about their pain to everybody else. And they're going to tell it first. They can't wait to spread the news. As soon as they get done spreading the news. But the thing is that you got to solve those problems in reverse. So now I'm going to talk to them about sand. Well, the reason that the sand came out is because, you used either the wrong sand or you didn't dig out the joints or something like that. This is how we're going to do it to keep that from happening. You solve that problem. Then the next one was the color. Well, we're going to use a grade enhancing 2-part urethane sealer that's going to end up giving you great enhancement, deep color. It's going to last longer, UV protection, blah, 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 blah. I solved that problem. Now, when I get to the final piece, which is the weeds, right, I'm going to be straight up with them. Mother Nature always wins. I'm not going to set unrealistic expectations, but let me tell you how I'm going to put Mother Nature into my corner by doing this, this, and this. Now, if you've solved the lowest pain and the second pain, they have to, in their mind, go, well, you were right on number 1. You were right on number 2. Must be right on number 3. You build credibility.
I like that.
Isn't that fun? It's the easiest way to sell people. Just let them tell you. It's the easiest way. If I'm going to sell someone, I'm going to go over and say, why'd you call me? They'll tell you.
No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But you ask the questions and shut up.
I do.
You got that right. How my wife does it, she asks questions and then she tells me to shut up. I couldn't pass that one up. I got to say it real quiet. She's downstairs. I'm the man of this house. I'll say whatever I want to say as long as it's on mute.
That's right.
All right. So, chapter 3 was basically.
Okay, so I got a suite, right?
What's that?
I don't need one, but
Tammy, you're not muted.
She is now. All right. Chapter 3 is if you could clone one of your customers 100 times, what type of client would that be? Like, what would be the perfect client?
Josh Kozad. Obviously, he's still on here, right?
Yeah.
You like that, right, Josh?
Yeah, I'm here. I was
Josh
muted.
said. Sorry, I know
So
you
what?
weren't asking me, but I just wanted to say that.
Right. Well, I think that everybody has their group, right? So, well, let's try this, right? All right, Danielle, what makes a client a good client? Like, what makes that person a customer, whether it be Josh, whether it be, I got Bob, I got Chad, I got Josh, I got Danny, I got Keith, I got Marlo, I got Nathan Eastlake, I got all these people. We got Brenda, got all these guys on here. I'm probably not going to be able to name everybody. Preston, Tim Sparks, Zach, all these people, couple Zoom users. What makes them a type of client? Like to you, Danielle, as a sales rep,
Yeah. So
let's find out what makes them a good one for you.
they take initiative. They don't need hand holding in a sense that, yes, we offer training, but they are utilizing the training we offer because we do this with our group trainings. If you don't take the hour and 30-minute intro to ceiling course, you cannot attend the hands-on training. I had a training in Tampa, 50 people signed up. I had about 22 people attend because the other, what's 50 minus 22, Mike? Come on.
38.
No, I'm gonna let you do it. 27,
No, that's not. I
28,
sell sealer. I don't do mold.
28.
The other
28.
20 did not take the intro to ceiling. So therefore they could not commit that hour and a half to us when it's a free training, free lunch. And we're the only manufacturer that does a full job site training. And they told us right then and there by not taking the intro to ceiling that there's nothing that they want to invest into it. It doesn't mean enough to them. So in return, we're not going to invest in them, or I'm not going to invest in them. Now they can come full circle. It's not like, hey, you didn't do it, so you can never get to work with us now. But they have to wait for that next opportunity, and they have to do the same thing that was expected of them. I get people that say, I've been sealing for 20 years. I don't need to take an online class. Okay. But that's the requirement of everybody. So if you don't want to do it, that's fine. I understand. Or maybe I don't understand, but that is required of everybody. So I'm sorry, but you can attend. We just do things that we do the things that we do for a reason to kind of weed out the people that are serious in investing in us so that we can invest back in them. So on our side of the spectrum, that's kind of how it looks to me.
Okay. So I wanna share something on my screen. If you all can take a look here, I'm gonna share something. And I've talked about this before, but I'm actually gonna show you the numbers, right? Of how this pumpkin plan plays out for us as far as Trident's concerned, right? And this is straight from our database. So you're getting an inside view here. I see people putting on their glasses. They ready to go, right, Nicholas? He's ready to see it. I just happen to have you up in here, right? All right, so I'm gonna do. Let me get to my share, and then share screen two. All right, everybody seeing this screen? Maybe. Oh, sorry. Now you should be seeing it. Everybody see the screen? Cool. All right.
Yep.
This is the back end of T3 University. Here's what I want you to pay attention to. There's 5,542. Can you guys see that number right here? That's how many people have registered in the past 3 years for T3 University, right? So out of that, right, I'm going to go to intro to ceiling and I'm going to go to completed and I'm going to apply. Out of that, 1,523 people have completed intro to ceiling. 5,000 people raised their hands and said, I want to know more. I want to be educated. I want to be trained. I want to know more about this. And out of all those people in 3 years, 1,523 people have completed intro to ceiling. Right? Now, after that, $217. This is not right. Something's wrong here. Is there something I'm missing here? It's completed. It, yeah. Out of that, as far as finishing the advanced training, there's 149 people that have completed the advanced training. So out of 5,000 people that said, I want to learn more, 149 people are master certified contractors that have completed that training. So now when a master certified contractor calls up and says, I'm interested in, I need some help. You know, when I look up somebody's name and I can go into each and every single one of these, right? Let's just take Christina, right? I can go into here and I can go submitted 5 jobs, right? 100% intro to ceiling, advanced training, right? I can go into intro to ceiling. I can get into more. I can see that she spent 3 minutes and 27 seconds on, or 3 hours and 27 seconds on the advanced training, 2 hours and 20 minutes on the intro to ceiling, and 1 hour and 21 on the submitted 5 jobs, right? She got 100% that's here. If I go into these, I can see exactly how much time that they spent on every single one of these and whether or not they completed it or not. Now, when a customer calls me up and tells me, guess what? Your product sucks. And I look them up and they've done 2 classes and then bailed. You're not my pumpkin. You see what I'm saying? So these are the types of things that we look at when we're trying to determine who do we spend our time with. And it's important, right? So does anybody else have any what would be the perfect client?
People who understand being proactive and not reactive.
Okay, tell me more about that. What does that mean?
Well, I mean, I, I know, like from a vehicle standpoint, I've learned over the years that you can say, "Oh, I've got this issue. I'll take care of it later." And that issue will always cost you 3 times it would have cost you if you had just taken care of it then. So, for a lot of the services that we provide, you will just see better results. So, like for us, one of the things I'm really trying to, I don't want to say necessarily push, but move clients towards this year is understanding that there's a lot more pollutants in the air. And so if you just call me to just clean your windows, guess what? It's going to cost you more because I have to work a whole lot harder to get that glass clean than if you're the same customer that understands really your whole house should have a house wash each year. And then we'll shine up the windows on top of it. Those are the customers that understand the value in doing it in a certain way because they ultimately get a much better overall service because they took all the right steps that brought everything into play for whatever the next service was.
So true. Paver ceiling in Florida. How many people wanted me to come out and just clean their pavers? What about this pool cage? Well, it's really not that dirty. I mean, yeah, there's green on top of it, but when next time it rains, what's happening? It's picking up those mold spores and dropping it down onto your brand new cleaned pavers. And then you wonder why in 2 months you've got mold and mildew everywhere. It's not from the ceiling. It's from you didn't go to the highest point. Then on top of that, the roof was dirty. Why didn't you clean the roof too? If you want to really maximize the cleaning potential, you need to clean from the top down, the roof, the cage, then seal the pavers. Well, I want you just to clean the gutters, not the rest of the house. Okay, sure. You know, everybody's trying to find that little just I just want what I want and I just want to get what I want. But those customers that tell you that I want, to really build up and get the full experience. What part of your business actually makes you the most profit, but you don't focus on enough? That's a tough question. Probably never had anybody ask you that question either. But what part of your business actually makes you the most profit, but you don't focus on it enough? Anybody? Annual maintenance. That's a good one. Commercial flat work. That's a good one. Yeah. Annual maintenance is big. Anybody else?
I have something, Mike, from the Trident
Sure.
standpoint. I don't think we focus, where with our contractors, we focus on homes and, paver systems where I think there's so much more potential with commercial, municipality work, schools, that our sealers and cleaners, benefit. And I think, that's something that been starting to focus on coming from the field, coming into Trident and seeing how everything works. I think as a rep, that's where I've been laxing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I think at the same time, it would benefit the contractors, that 142 that put in the work.
Right. And we've got a lot of them that are moving down that path, right? And identifying those people. The biggest takeaway from the pumpkin plan that I took from the first 4 chapters was identifying who is worth your time and effort based on the objections that they give to you, because there's too much out there. We, how many times do we watch these guys go? I saw a guy yesterday having a full conversation. To the day I die, I will remember this conversation in one of the groups. And I'm not going to call out who it was and who was and everything else like that, but I will never forget this. I had a guy that was arguing, why are people teaching customers that a 2-day clean, sand, and seal is the right way to do it and disrupting the 1-day person? That'd be like me going in and saying, why are you selling at $3 a square foot? You're screwing up my 99-cent house wash guy. How does that make sense? You know how it makes sense? People are starting to understand that there's value to doing it not all in one day. that there is value to doing this in a systematic way and building value. You might be in a high volume world and willing to make a profit multiple times a year, but there are customers out there, or multiple times a day, but there are customers out there that will go, so let me see if I got this right. You're trying to tell me that you're going to come out and do this in one day. Now, I know there's plenty of people up here doing it in one day, and I'm not trying to bash on that. That's not my whole point. My whole point is to say, how have we gotten to the point that somebody is selling at a higher price, at a higher value, and getting chastised by somebody that is doing it quicker, faster, and simpler? How did we get there?
Mike, when it comes to just the 1 day, 2 day process conversation there, with my business back when I was running that, I mean, I did a 2 day process, but when I first started, I was a 1 day guy. And, when I first started, I was also very green. I was new and I never paid attention to concrete underlay, things like that. And I would get callbacks, not a lot, one a month, maybe one every 2 months, too many. Went to a 2 day process. Hell, I couldn't tell you the last time I had a callback. Um, not saying that the 1 day process is wrong, but it's definitely when learning, especially, there's a lot of things you don't know. Like I say, concrete underlay, moisture issues underneath that can cause issues. So, I always went with the 2 day for sure. And I could, I saw more profit because I could even do 2 jobs. I'll clean 2, sand 2 in day 1. And then day 2, I'm sealing 2 jobs. I'm still getting the same amount of jobs done you're getting done in your 1 day, but I'm giving that ample amount of time for dry, you know what I mean? Doing the 2 day process.
Right. Agreed. And everybody's got to find what works for them. But I think our main thing is are you identifying your customers and being realistic with your customers? Are you really looking at the customer? Are you looking at them and trying to mold them into being what you want them to be, not who they are? And I want our contractors to start to identify these customers of who they are, not who they tell you they are, not who they think they're showing you are, but who they really are. If you've got all these red flags that are showing up all over the place, that they are on the vine, just sucking the water out of all the big pumpkins, move on. Don't drain yourself with that. You only got one trip around the sun. Why dig for scraps when there's plenty of meat on the table? There's plenty of meat on the table. There are plenty of people out there that will value this. I mean, what's the number one complaint about Trident? What's the number one complaint? Anybody know? What's the number one complaint? I'll tell you, but I want to see what you guys are. What's the number one complaint?
It's too expensive.
Damn. But is it?
No.
No.
The rep in Boston.
Huh?
I said number one complaint, the rep in Boston.
Oh my gosh, that guy.
Hey, you.
Can't understand a damn word he says with that goofy accent of his.
But the number one complaint is the person that, or the person that says it's too expensive. Okay. But it's not. It's so expensive. It's a kit and it's 500 and something odd dollars compared to 200 and something. Well, how do you tell me that you don't know what you're talking about without telling me you don't know what you're talking about? Right? Because I've got guys that are using our products that have been using it for years and years and years and years. If it was so expensive and they couldn't make any money with it, do you think they would continue using it? You think Andrew and Nicholas and Brenda and Chad and Josh and all these guys that are on here, if they couldn't make any money, how long do you think it would be before they got back and they said, I can't use this stuff anymore. I can't make any money. If you were getting callbacks like crazy, if you didn't get the support and the education and the training from the contractors and from us in general, eventually you would say this ain't worth it, but they're not.
I don't think there's a company out there that spends this much time with contractors on contractors like Trident does, period. And I've used multiple programs before.
Well, I can tell you, I've never seen a book club on a manufacturer in my life. I've never been a part of a book club my whole life. Danielle sits on a dictionary when she drives, but other than that,
No, a pillow.
oh, a pillow. Okay, fair enough. I ain't gonna lie, I thought that was a good one. So, out of how many people are actually reading this book? I just want to open this up, right? How many people are actually reading this book and who's got something to say? This is wide open now. We've kind of done the hard stuff. We've asked the 4 questions and stuff else like that, right? But who wants to just throw some stuff out there about what they picked up and ask any questions that you've got? This is kind of the free open time. Yeah, audio version.
I'll say something on the contractor standpoint. Coming over from being a contractor and coming into this book has really taught me, when I got into this, I just wanted to go after everybody. And then, looking at, you know, customers that'll call me and say, yeah, I need help. I want to do this, but I'm not willing to do the T3. Well, if you're not willing to do the T3, call me when you're ready. And that's kind of been hard for me, but the book makes it make sense on why we have to do stuff like that. You have to be invested in yourself, and you have to be invested in your contractors on the Trident side of things. Like good example is Washworks. They came in, we did a class with them, did the T3, knocked out their um, master certification, and they don't ask me to hold their hand. They call and they say, hey, look at, we have this, what would you recommend for a product? We tell them, and they go right and they do it. But then you got those customers that are, I'm charging $5 a square foot and I'm not profitable. Well, what's going on? If you're not profitable, how many jobs have you messed up? How many jobs did you have to go redo? Because I have guys that are charging $2.50 and making a killing on it.
I got people down here charging $1.50.
Right. So, the nice part about us is we're smart enough to where we can identify and say, look at, this is why you're losing money. And if you don't want to listen or take advice, or you don't want to, kind of learn and take what we're telling you, at the end of the day, you're just not my customer anyway up here. Um, I just won't. It made me realize that you can't just say yes to everybody. In other words.
Yeah.
I think the section was chapter 3 where he was talking about like even our company name and how like especially with the airplane scenario and travel and so forth, global travel.
Yeah.
So last year we renamed my entire company. Last year we launched it, and it'll be a year in April that we changed the name after 3 years with the 3.5 years of the old name. But like just hearing that within the book, it pretty hard to like look how much more a name specified to what we do compounded ROI and revenue and why clients wanted to choose that versus Joe's soapy wash.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, I've got one for a takeaway that I felt like was said multiple times in the first 4 chapters, and it's more isn't better, but better is better. So,
Fire.
go find those better clients, figure out who are your better clients. And that's where we want to focus. And for us, it's, who's the better contractors? That's where I want to spend my time and effort. Work with better contractors, work with better clients. I felt like I kept getting that message as I got further into the book. So I don't know, 2 cents that threw out there, something to keep in mind.
Agreed. The better client, getting more of better clients and focusing in on those is going to make a drastic change. The purpose of the T3 University was I'd never read the Pumpkin Plan. Never, I didn't know what it was all about, right? But I knew that I wasn't going to be able to spend the same amount of time with every single customer out there when I started. Oh my gosh, someone would call me up and say, "I've never sealed pavers before. I've never sealed pavers before, but I want you to tell." And I would spend hours on the phone with them. 2 hours, 3 hours, walking them through absolutely everything because I wanted to show them I knew what I was talking about. I wanted to be in their mind the best person. 9 times out of 10, those people never bought a drop from me, but I spent too much time. Hey, I'll spend 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. I'll do whatever you want as soon as you watch these videos. Well, I don't have time for that. Well, then I don't have time to sit here for the next 2 hours to teach you everything you need to know. Same thing with customers. Oh, well, you can go by and give me an estimate. Go by and give me an estimate and let me know how much it is, and then I'll let you know if I'm going to pick you. But I got 3 other people that are coming out there, so you better sharpen your pencil. I'll stick it in the pencil sharpener. So customers will tell you if they're the right one for you or not. And I think we got to come from a perspective of that not every customer is our customer, and that's scary. That's scary. That's scary. That's scary. I got bills to pay. I got mouths to feed. I've got food to put on the table. I got electric bill to pay. I've got airline tickets for my kid. I got a pilot. I've got, all these different things. There's all these reasons why we should do it. But I said this once and I'll say it again. There has never been a trouble customer that has not told you that they were going to be a trouble customer and you chose to ignore it. They all told you they were going to be a pain in the ass because if I asked you when it was all done with, every one of you would say, "Man, I knew I was getting into a deep shit with this person." They said everything. They told me they were going to be a pain in the butt. I just refused to listen to it. And the only reason I refused to listen to it is because I needed that money. I had to get it. And man, I lost my butt on that person because I didn't listen to my instinct. I didn't listen to my intuition, and I completely ignored the flags, the red flags. And Brenda says it right on here. In the beginning, she took it personal when customers didn't choose her. I mean, I was told a lot when I was growing up and in the whole dating scene and stuff like that. Look, I like you as a friend. Yeah, you're fun to be around, but let's just be friends, right? Take that personal. But really, the sales game is nothing but dating. Really is. Start thinking of what it was like to date. Like you courted people, you found out, but then all of a sudden that person, just started burping every time that they talk to you. I don't know if I'm gonna hang around with that. I don't know. I just made that up. It's kind of weird, but I just gave it a shot. But they're gonna do these things, but they're gonna tell you that you're not the right fit. So I don't want to take up a whole lot more time. We've done this for about an hour. We're going to do in 2 weeks. So that's going to be on the 26th of March. I'd like to do the next 4 chapters. That's going to be at 4:00, same time there, but we're going to do the next 4 chapters. So that's going to take us up through like I said, through chapter 8. And hopefully, we picked up a couple little more things. Does anybody have anything that they want to throw in before we leave? Is everybody getting busy?
Hey, Mike,
Is
it's
the
Tammy.
phones ringing? I'm sorry?
It's Tammy. Can you hear me?
I can.
I was in and out. I don't know if you noticed, I was in and out. Finally got full access of Wi-Fi, but I got most of it. Sorry I didn't get to engage and put my 2 cents in, but it's a great book. It really is. It's changed my whole perspective on how to look at, your top 10 and, just basically how you guys laid it out there. I got about the last 20 minutes without getting cut out, but I just wanted to apologize for not engaging a little bit more. That's it.
It's all good. It's all good. Anybody have anything they want to say? Just hopefully everybody's staying busy. Look, I'm going to give you guys a piece of advice. Get those emails out. Get those text messages out. Reach out to old customers. Just barrage everybody that you've got. Stir the pot, but then be very selective on who you pick. Use the pumpkin plan. Not everybody's your pumpkin. Sometimes we don't have to have a huge award-winning pumpkin. But we want something we can at least make some pumpkin pie out of. And boys, I love me some pumpkin pie. I love me some pumpkin pie. My mom used to make some awesome pumpkin pie. Amazing pumpkin pie. Right, Dad? Yep. So next meeting is in 2 weeks, and looking forward to chapters 4 through 8. I'm already on, where am I at here? I'm on I'm almost finishing this up here. I'm finishing. I've got 2 more pages left in chapter 7, and then I got chapter 8. So hope everybody has a great week. This has been fun. It's been unique. It's been different. But let's just keep moving forward. I already have another book picked out, but I'm not going to say what it is next. Maybe after the end of the next one, I'll talk about what our next book is going to be. But I have a really good one. It'll be a lot of fun. And I hope everybody has a great week. And more importantly, I hope everybody stays Trident strong. Thank you guys for joining me today and joining the Trident team. And if you need anything, feel free to reach out to us. You guys are my pumpkins. That's about as awkward as I can make it sound.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, everybody.
Thanks, Mike.
We'll talk to you guys
Thanks
soon. Have a
all.
great
Thanks,
week.
Mike.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
You need to see that.